I finally told my fiance's mom why I am no contact with my family. She bawled her eyes out. Now his whole family thinks I went too far. My 23F fiance's 26M mom 51F had us over for dinner last Friday to celebrate the recent engagement. We have been together just over 2 years and he proposed a week ago. It was my dream proposal, and I am honestly more excited than I ever thought I would be. I don't care that much about the actual wedding. I am mostly excited to do the actual marrying. So when his parents asked to help pay for it, and his mom also offered to help plan it, I said I would love that. After we finished eating, he and his dad went to sit outside and talk. His mom asked me about what I had planned and I answered that it was quite early but that I would be happy to hear any suggestions and that I would love help planning. We talked some about the dress and decor and stuff. Then the topic of guests came up, when she asked about some very extended family on his side and some family friends, to which I said the more the merrier. She suddenly got more serious and asked about my family and if they would come. I answered that no, I have completely cut them out. She seemed a little surprised by how firm I was about it. Since I am usually quite timid, I said we should talk about venue to change the subject, and we agreed on something outdoors, because the wedding will fall next spring. It got a little awkward after we finished talking, so I went outside to confirm my fiance was happy with the stuff we decided. We then all came back inside and I went upstairs to look at the venues she suggested on their computer. About 10 minutes after I was upstairs, I suddenly heard some raised voices, so I went down to see what was going on. Once I came in, everyone stopped and I asked what was going on. My fiance said that nothing was going on and we should leave. I then directed the question to his parents, and his mom hesitated before she told me that it would be hard to explain why my family wasn't there and asked if there was any chance of me reconciling before the wedding. I said absolutely not, to which she said it would be a bad example for any future children and would be basically setting an example that you don't unconditionally love family and that every parent makes some mistakes. At that point, my fiance jumped in and told her that he wouldn't want any of his children around my family because of what he knows they have done. She then repeated that everyone makes mistakes as a parent and her mom would spank her and wouldn't ever let her cry. But over time, once she was an adult, their relationship got closer after she forgave her mom. My fiancé has told me before that his mom is quite naive and sheltered, always sees the good in people, so it would be better to not tell her more than necessary, because it would affect her a lot. When his sister broke her leg, she cried for months because her baby was in pain, like a lot more than his sister did. And when a neighbor was arrested 5 years ago for domestic violence, she was crying constantly and still brings it up to this day, even telling people specifics and how awful it was for her. I don't doubt that she is genuinely upset with stuff like this. These are 2 examples and I have many, many more. So me and my fiance agreed early on to keep it somewhat vague because 1, it would seriously upset her. 2, she will probably talk to people I don't want knowing about it unintentionally. She kept on rambling how she had made mistakes too as a parent and wouldn't know what to do if her kids didn't talk to her, etc. I can't remember all the specifics, but I basically said that it wasn't the same and she kept on going. At one point, future Phil even interjected and told her we should talk about wedding stuff another day, and my fiance also really tried to get her to stop talking, but she didn't. I broke down and told her not even everything, but I explained that I used to go hungry for days while we had plenty of food and that I broke my arm twice because of my dad getting physical. She had already shut up and was crying harder, now trying to apologize, but I can't explain it. I couldn't stop. I listed off more stuff like sleeping outside in winter and how I had to constantly lie and say I was just clumsy because my mom would threaten to kill our dog if CPS came. All the money I made once I was old enough to get a job was taken for alcohol and substances, and it took years of saving while giving them most of my money to accumulate $465, and I left the moment I turned 18. Honestly, doesn't even come close to everything that happened, but you get the point. I also don't remember exactly what I did or didn't mention, so I am just listing the stuff I specifically remember saying, but there was more. His dad seemed shocked and his mom was full out sobbing. I apologized and said I shouldn't have said that, and then left to go to our car because I just wanted to cry. Fiance met me after like 20 minutes, I think. He said his mom was definitely out of line, but he was also upset with me because I knew what would happen and how it would seriously affect her. I apologized again, and once we got home I just went to bed since it was past 10 p.m. He didn't join me till after I was asleep, and when I woke up he wasn't there either. He did leave a note saying that he was out for a morning jog, which is normal, so I just made myself some tea and waited for him to come back. When he did, it was already actually well into the afternoon, and he told me his dad called, so he went home because he needed to comfort his mom. I was annoyed honestly, but I just asked how she is doing. Not well. She barely slept and was mad at herself, and upset for me, and genuinely thought she was doing the right thing by trying to bring up reconciliation. I said that I wished he had stood up for me more, to which he said he should have, but that I was out of line when I did something we specifically agreed not to do. He said his mom was still doing very badly, so he might go over there and I shouldn't come because seeing me might make it worse. He ordered food, enough for everyone, so he gave me some and then took the rest. Since his mom is in no state to cook, he ended up sleeping there and messaged me that he knows it wasn't a fair situation, but it's hard for him to deal with the fact that I upset his mom this much, knowing what would happen. This morning he texted me saying he had to attend to a work emergency and wouldn't be home till quite late. His father reached out a few hours ago. He told me they are sorry and that maybe it's best not to bring it up. His sister later called me to talk and said that I know how their mom is and it was extremely inappropriate to tell her what I did. I have only talked to one friend about this and she told me that it sucks for his mom, but it's not my fault, and then said some stuff about him being a mama's boy, but like as a joke, not as a legit criticism. She is biased because she isn't a mutual friend, and I think would always take my side. I just need advice on how in the wrong I am and how to rectify the situation.